I'm sitting here with James Tharp, and he and I are discussing. Well, we're discussing the echo in the audio right now. Man, it's pretty hardcore, and I've never heard such like terrible feedback in the audio. I've never heard like it's the point to where I don't think that we can have a meaningful conversation and expect people to listen to what's happening right now. I thought when we jumped in here, maybe the audio processing would help, um, but I don't think it is helping. So, I mean, I guess say hey, you can say, "Hey, what up? I'm James."
Hi, I'm James Tharp, here to have a conversation with Tommy Mack. My camera's falling.
Um, James, I maybe this conversation gets pushed back to, a day or 2 later, but if you speak, we're not gonna hear a lot of that chirping, we're not gonna hear a lot of the feedback, um, but there's a very specific reason that I wanted to talk to you on here on Super Tommy Land, because I bring friends of mine on that are either in the entertainment business or, um, just old friends of mine, people um, that have things to say, that have meaningful things to say about the condition of what's happening in the world right now, the condition of their life, of uh, the lives they see around them. And the goal of this show is it's not to be political. It's not to point fingers. It's not to, throw blame on anyone about anything. It's to really bring people together and let them create a conversation about what's happening in their life and in the lives of people around them. And you and I came together recently, um, in a very peculiar way.
Right.
If you'd like to, if you'd like to explain how that happened, I'll throw the floor to you. I'll let you have the floor. So
Uh, I follow Tommy on Facebook, and we agree to disagree on a lot of things. And in one post, I won't get into what the post was about, but I did throw in a little veiled jab. There's a little rabbit punch that, and he called me on it. He didn't spit vitriol in my face about it like most people would, which I would expect. Instead, he called me on it, and I admitted that I was wrong for doing that, and that it wasn't anything out of any kind of disrespect for Tommy, because I do respect him. Hometown kid makes good. I mean, what's not to respect about that? Um, and we kind of just uh, me and Tommy can agree to disagree, and still have a conversation based on mutual respect for each other. And I think that's a really deep thing to have.
well, James, we can we can touch on what the conversation was about. We can
Okay.
do that. And you and I shared different beliefs on that particular post. So, without getting into the details of what the post was and what it was about exactly, I mean, you can go back and look on my Facebook if you want.
All right.
But you know, no need to pull any punches. The bottom line is there are many people in the world right now that are in the position that you and I are in, right? Where they share something that someone may not agree with, and their immediate reaction is to punch, fight,
Yeah.
fight, 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 instead of, grabbing and hugging and saying, "Hey, man, okay, what's this about? What are we talking about?" And I really appreciate you because you took that second, you took that moment to say, "Well, damn, he's not punching back. He's listening. He's trying to understand. He's trying to see where I'm coming from." So let's revisit that moment again, and feel free to talk about what we were talking about.
Um, well, I think at the time it was, what was it? There was two posts that were kind of really close together. One was about masks. I remember that. I'm not sure if that was the exact post that I made a comment on.
Hmm.
People not wearing masks and the whole social distancing and all that stuff like that. Um, you could refresh my memory if it was a different post.
The point is something set you off. and
Yeah,
you came flying in. You came in like a wrecking ball.
I
As
have the tendency to put my mouth sometimes. I do.
but I, I didn't want to try to put you in your place. I didn't want to try to make you feel bad for having your opinion, for voicing your opinion. Um,
Yeah. At the same time, though, you did, because you made me have to look at back at myself introspectively and say, "Hey, it was a pretty douchey thing to do, man. You know, and admit that I was wrong." So, it's
but
not putting somebody in their place as, not in a punching back kind of way, but just like, "Hey, man, what was up with that, bro?"
so for those listening, if someone approaches you, for example, for those listening, if someone approaches you on your social media platform and says, blah 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 blah, and is just completely hating what you're saying, um, what would your response be in order to create a conversation at this point, and then compare that to what it would have been last week, if you will.
Um, Normally, when something like that happens, a lot of times it'll be something. It could be about religion, politics,
Those are
different
hot
things,
buttons for sure.
the hot button topics that get people going. Um, I always try to get them to actually look at all the information that they can look at before they, jump to a conclusion.
Mhm.
Other people have misconceptions about even the founding of our country, and
Or
the
or or
actual.
perhaps maybe someone that sounds like you, talking like this, and the way the country was founded on this, that, and the other, and that's the way we feel, and that's the way it is.
Well, not just that. Like if you look back, because it's public record, you can actually look at the debates that they had in the Continental Congress. So you can actually see that they debated over exact words
Mhm,
because they didn't want things misconstrued.
mhm.
So, and it goes beyond that. It goes to jurisprudence as well. So you have to look at jurisprudence.
Can you define that for the people that don't know what that means? Jurisprudence?
Jurisprudence. Uh, I would, to make it easy for people to understand, Supreme Court decisions, because those
Well,
are the big ones.
you could just define it, jurisprudence.
Oh Lord.
I mean,
Define jurisprudence. It's
James, if you're gonna say it, it's only fair to be able to explain it.
Yeah, but then I want to get the exact definition. You know what I mean? Which I probably cannot just source out of my brain real quick. Jurisprudence is a judgment. You know, it's where uh, a review
Let me
made.
look. I will look this up for you. Give me a second.
Look that up for me because
But in the meantime, continue. Just let's talk about why you and I got on a phone call. Talk about that.
because we both understand the need to have a dialect, even though we can disagree on things. It doesn't mean that we can't respect each other's position.
Mhm.
And also, you need to be able to open your mind
Mhm.
and from what that position is that's opposite of your
Yes,
position, because
absolutely.
it helps you understand the big
Mhm.
picture. I
Yes,
mean, the way the human brain works is you have to be correct.
it's a sponge.
Yeah,
It's a sponge.
and it can only make a wise decision with the most information that it has. It's going to scan itself, and then it's going to make a decision, and it's going to think that it's right because that's all the information it has.
It's your brain. It's right all the time, every time.
Yeah, exactly. It's just the way it
So,
works.
and by the way, jurisprudence is the theory of philosophy or law.
There you go.
So, not sure how much weight that holds in the previous, conversation, but the thing that I want to point out here is the main thing that I feel like is being lost. James came to me on my Facebook page and was angry. Angry about what? I don't know. To this day, I don't know. I haven't even. I don't even think I asked you. Did I ask you what it was?
Not really. I mean, I don't think we got into that, but I can admit that things that have happened to me in my life have left me kind of miserable and angry. I'm getting out of that. We had a conversation earlier about things that have changed for me recently that
Mhm.
are making me better.
Yeah.
I feel like I can be happy, or I choose now to be happy. Because I don't want to be miserable and I don't want to be angry.
No. No one. I don't think anyone that I know wants to be miserable. But what most people don't understand is that that choice is completely up to you as an individual. You can choose. You can wake up. You can wake up and look at the sun. Wake up, have a shower. Wake up, have a nice glass of water. Wake up and just stretch. Wake up, look at your puppies, look at your cats, smile, start your day that way. Just look at all the amazing things in your life that make you feel good. And so when James, for whatever reason, and you can look back on the conversation. I didn't erase it. And James, I'm sorry that I didn't erase it.
Uh,
Um,
That I don't I don't mind at all.
I I thought that it should stay there. And I haven't even looked at it since we talked after the fact, but um, yeah, I posted something and James lashed out and said something that made me I felt personally attacked and I was just like, dude, um, are you okay? What's happening? Like what's going on? What did I do something to you? Like is there can
Yeah.
I can I help you out? And we got, deep down into the nitty-gritty. I called him. I called him on the phone and we talked. And I don't know why he was blown away by that. The fact that people talk. James, why did that blow you away? Like why was that out of the ordinary for you?
Oh, Freaking Tommy McCarthy, bro. I mean, I'm just James.
I'm
I mean,
I'm,
that's what kind of took me back is like
I'm just
you're
Tommy, man.
busy guy, obviously. I mean, so to take that kind of
We're in the middle of a pandemic. I'm hosting podcasts. Let's be honest.
yeah, but
Come
you
on.
have a wife, you have your, you know what I mean? You have responsibilities to take your time out of your day to reach out to somebody. Uh, you know what I mean? It has to take you back, take and make you, make you feel like you need to be introspective, like I said before, and be like, if he can do that, if he can take the time out of his day to reach out and say, "What's going on, man? Are you okay?" Um, then I think we can all be better.
Well, I I I appreciate that sentiment, but I don't feel like I'm the poster boy for, reaching out and
Someone's got to be. Might as well be you.
man, when I called you, your response was amazing. And it made me feel it made actually, let me take this off of here just because I don't want to hide my sentiment when I'm saying this to you. I called you and I heard your voice and I heard the hurt in your voice and uh, I heard the what's the term? I heard I guess I heard the unsureness, like you didn't know, like in being right here in this place right now. It's 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 okay to not know, to not understand what's happening because no one's ever been here and done this, at least in
Right.
this day and age, right? I heard that in your voice, and I apologize for anyone that's listening and hears the feedback on my voice, but I do want to tell James this right here, right now. I heard you, I felt you, and I'm gonna I'm gonna stand next to you and help you do whatever you want to do, man. Like I see lots of it's it's hard for me. I can't really relate my personal experiences to you or to anyone on here right now, right? That's hard to do. Just if I could just bless you all with like, here's the stuff that I know, here's the stuff that I see. But I'll say this: lots of people are in positions of power and positions of um, being able to speak to people, and I, for the life of me, I I love being able to be in this position, and I want nothing more than to be able to do this for my the rest of my life. To be here, to talk to people, to help people. Hopefully, um, I'm not the smartest person. I'm pretty damn smart. I was gonna go to Harvard. Um, I know what an elephant looks like.
Well,
I was a valedictorian of Crestwood High School the first year. Ray Allen was my old homie at Hillcrest, and we had another basketball star fly up to the NBA ranks from Crestwood. I was the first graduating class, student body president, prom king. Like we can throw all these things around, but nothing matters
States.
except for the fact that, dude, you hopped on, you gave me a little bit of crap, and I let me give you another little situation which I didn't tell you about before. Okay, so No Authority was on tour, right, with Nickelodeon, We're sitting there. Uh, we had, 20,000, 25,000 people in the audience. But on the side, that's where we signed autographs. Bunch of, people lined up. We're out there signing for hours before the show, hours after the show. Sometimes we go to the mall and sign for hours there too. Anyway, somebody thought it'd be funny to come up and slap me in the face. Slap me.
Really?
Yeah. And then Eric, my co-host in the Bad Boys of Pop, was like, and he's like, will you sign this? He's like, no, I'm not signing that for you. Why would I sign that for you?
Yeah.
So people sometimes feel that maybe being different or being awkward or being what they think is funny
Yeah.
is gonna make them different. Well, that's to me, and Jojo on the radio, Jojo from Kiss FM, he's had a lot of these same things happen too. And we had him on the Real Showcast. He'll be on the Bad Boys of Pop soon. But he said the same thing. Don't make this a habit. Like, yes, these people will remember you. So, Nukas in the Block, Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, O-Town, No Authority, All for One. They'll remember you, but not in a good way. Right? So
Yeah.
always try to put your best foot forward when you're in those positions. But when you're in the position that we are right now, where we have time to sit back and look at what's happening in this country. I looked at something today, James. I looked at something today, and it was out of Miami, and there were some protesters, and it was just look at him. What's his name? Stop it! Stop doing it! And the police seemed to be very respectful, doing what they were doing. They were arresting one person who had. I mean, the video doesn't even show it, what they did, but they're being arrested. The police weren't like over the top. The people watching were super extra. And I support BLM 100%. I've marched for BLM. But I cannot support people out there just blindly yelling in the faces of cops. I won't. I can't support that. I can't do it.
Yeah. Well,
Can't do it.
when uh, you have peaceful protests, these anarchists, I'll call them, will see that as an opportunity to hijack that message
Yeah.
and create chaos because some people just want to see the world burning. They just don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
I do believe that Black Lives Movement matter. Like that movement, the Black Lives Matter movement, is it is solid. It should be heard. People that are affected by the police in a negative way, the police profiling, treating black people, darker people. My wife is Mexican. Um, I I don't believe that people should be treated differently based on the tint of their skin. That said, I don't agree and I will not support people shoving cameras in the faces of police officers doing their jobs the right way and
Right.
trying to. In fact, there was one situation that happened where there was an officer and he actually walked with the kids out of a store, out of a convenience store, and he had them all held up at gunpoint, and all these people started pulling over, yelling, "Blah blah blah, blah. Leave him alone! Leave him alone! Leave him alone! Leave him alone!" Well, there was a kid in the store that had a gun. It was a fake gun, but he had a gun.
Yeah.
He had a gun, and this officer is doing it the right way. And if you watch his body cam, which is a different video, you watch his body cam, and he handled that perfectly. He's telling guys, listen, I don't want to hurt you. You don't want to hurt me. Let's make sure that this all goes down the way it should go down. He's talking to them, and then you have all these adults over here, right? Blah, 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 blah. They're black. They're black. You're racist. You're right. Like just you're railing at this guy, trying to drum it up, trying to escalate it. Fortunately, the officer played it properly. The people he was the children that he was talking to listened to him, respected what he was saying because they knew that they did something wrong. They had done something wrong. And when they went back to the store, walked in, got the story, looked out. Yeah, it was a fake gun that looked real, but it was a gun. And all the people over there trying to start something, some crazy. Those adults could have killed people based on what they did because they were idiots. The kids were smarter than the adults. Let the police work. If you don't know what they're doing, if you don't understand it, let them work. Let them do their job. They're there to do their job.
Yeah.
Not everyone has a knee in someone's neck. Yes, that was ridiculous and should never be repeated. But I mean, we've all seen the video, and it's terrible. It's terrible. God help me. Like, I hope that never happens again. No one should ever suffer that fate. Drugs in your system or not. No one should ever suffer a knee in your neck for 8 minutes. Not
Yeah,
necessary.
and
Not necessary. Something terrible happened there, and that should be dealt with. But let's stop destroying people's property. Let's stop creating drama when there doesn't need to be drama. You know what? This coming week, as far as unemployment, the extra $600 that should be gone. Like you're going to see people writing about that, writing about
Jeez.
not being able to pay bills. There's so much stuff going on, right? So you can throw it this way, throw it that way, but when it comes down to it, the most important thing is when you talk to your neighbor, you talk to your friend, listen listen to what they're saying, because sometimes what they're saying might just clue you in on something that no one else is privy to, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when you and I were talking, you blew up at me. You blew up at me.
Yeah.
I was just like, wow, okay. How do I respond to this? And two things could have happened. What would have happened if I'd come at you with as much hate that you came at me with?
Uh, we went back and forth, I'm sure, until one of us decided to block the other one. It wouldn't have been me. I mean, I don't block people.
I don't either.
I just,
I let them
I'm
dig their own grave.
forth if that was your position, and at the end of it all, neither one of us would have learned anything from it. We would have both walked away from the conversation a whole lot stupider. But luckily, that's not what happened. I think we both walked away feeling good at the end of it. You
I
know,
felt good. I felt good,
it
and
felt good for me. It did. It felt great for me to, because I don't mind at all, and I actually enjoy it when I have to look at myself in a mirror and say, that's something I don't like, and I need to change it. And sometimes it takes for somebody to point that out to you.
Well, James, I want to commend you because you were the person that had to step up in that scenario, and I didn't ask to be in that position, but I was there, and it was a really weird situation. Um, but you, dude, you were the one that came back after the fact. Like you came back after the fact because I had already been like, oh, okay, well, this guy's just hateful and doesn't want to, whatever. Okay, sorry, moving on. And then you popped up. You popped up in my. I got a notification, and here's James. Here's James. And what did James say?
I said I was wrong 100%. That you called me out on it, and I thanked you for calling me out on it. Yeah,
I
I
didn't
I
even
uh,
I didn't even believe it when I saw you thank me, and I was like, oh, what's he about to say now? I thought you were about to shoot something else at me, and was like, man, I'm just trying to keep the peace, man. And you're like, no, you called me out on it, and I feel bad about it, and you're right, and I'm not trying. I wasn't trying to be right, but the most beautiful, beautiful thing, and this can take us home. We can get out of, out of. I know lots of people probably aren't checking on Super Tommyland right now at 12:24 in the morning trying to hear this thing. Um, but it really is a beautiful, beautiful thing because James stepped up to me and he said, Tommy, you called me out on that. I was like, okay. But it's not about calling you out. It was about um for me, like that was a moment where I'm like, okay, like I could have done that or not. The beautiful thing for me is what happened in you. And what happened in you, oh my God, I just wish that could happen in people around the world, around the country. What happened in you in that moment? Can you tell people, please?
uh well, whenever you posted back to me after what I said, I was, and you didn't. I mean, it wasn't venom that you were spitting in my face. You were like, "Hey, man, what was that? Was that like a sucker punch, man, or veiled jab? I mean, what was that?" And I was like, "Man, what was that?" I had to look, and I was like, "Man, I did. That was a low blow, and I shouldn't have done that. I should have just been. Oh, if I didn't have anything good to say, then I should have just kept my mouth shut. I looked like an ass, and and I was grateful that you called me on it, so I could look at myself and be like, dude, you can't do that. You got to be better than that.
Well,
You
James,
can't listen to anybody else for their mannerisms, like when they do things like that. You can't get offended because you're doing the same thing. So I was very grateful that you called me out on it, and I could had the opportunity to correct myself.
well, James, I appreciate you more than you know. You are a bigger man than a lot of people that I know because you immediately stepped up. And honestly, dude, when you came back at me with that acceptance and you apologized, I was just like, whoa, like what did I say? How did was there something that I did to help you realize? Like because and I don't want to pat myself on the back. What I would like to do is figure out how that happened. So if there's someone else out there that had a bully come up and sucker punch them, is there a way that they can counter that that would equal your response? Because your response was beautiful.
Man, I don't know, like an actual sucker punch.
Not
I
not
mean,
not in real life. I'm just trying to
uh,
figure out like
um,
how can we, I don't want to say teach people, but how can people learn from what happened with you and I? I didn't let your anger destroy me. Had I taken that personally, yeah, it would have hurt. But instead, I came and spoke to you like a human being. And
right.
I think that's what maybe that's the thing that you responded to is I'm talking to you as a human being, not as a man, not as a woman, not as a man,
That's
not as a woman, as a person. I'm talking to you and saying what you just did was hurtful. Why would you do that?
right. I think that's exactly what it is. I mean, not everybody is going to be uh, so receptive to someone trying to, defuse. Some people just want to fight with people, and it's just it just makes you miserable and unhappy.
And let
That's those
and
type of
let
people.
and let's be clear, there was not a pugnacious post put out. I wasn't trying to fight with you. You just hopped in and were like,
Just hopped in. It's like,
whoa,
hey, yeah,
whoa. And but now you and I, like, dude, I care for you. I care about you. I want to see you doing well. Like, isn't that funny? Isn't that crazy?
yeah,
I'm not.
it is.
I'm not promoting people. Going and finding people that they want to, throw jabs at and then be like, don't go do this to Mike Tyson. I know he's fighting soon, right? Don't go picking fights. Um, but I mean, I guess if there's something that I could say, if there's some advice that I could offer from this, if you will, if James, if you'll let me give mine first, I'll let you give yours after. Um, I would just say listen and then listen again and then listen again and then wait. Let it sink in. Think about it. Think about what they're saying, who's saying it, and why they're saying it. And then look at that person. Listen to the dynamics of their voice. Listen to how they're saying it. Look at their face if you can. I couldn't look at your face when you were saying it, but I could hear the hurt in your voice. And I didn't know where it was coming from. So I would say just look, listen, wait, and be willing to accept that initial barrage, right? Just listen. But then beyond that, be willing to say something else, right? Don't get knocked out. Don't just leave. When someone gets mad at you and they're angry, they slap you, they knock you around. Something's wrong there. Listen to it. Listen to the person. Listen to their heart. Have the conversation because I promise you, what you'll find, you're not the problem. You're not the issue. And you might very well be the cure. You might very well be the thing that can help them dig out of that thing.
Absolutely.
So, James, do you want to give your take on that? Was I close? Was I
Yeah, I mean,
ballpark?
absolutely, absolutely. But I'd also add that um, it's okay to be wrong. You like
Yes, yes, it is.
to be right all the time. You know,
No,
and
I'm wrong a lot. I'm
Yeah,
wrong
and
a whole lot.
being admit being able to admit you're wrong goes a long way
Mhm,
of- with people when you can say, even if it's over something trivial that that you swore you were right about, but then you can go back, day, week, whatever later and be like, hey, you know what, you were right and I was wrong. you
mhm.
know to be able to admit that.
Oh my god. Can you imagine how many more best friends you'd have had they done
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
How many
just
in my life, in South Carolina alone, I can think of friends that said, "No, no, you messed up. You met but but no, but what about the thing that, like, oh, no." Everyone has so much pride, so much pride. Just step up. Just step up, and you don't have to always be right. You don't have to always be wrong. And
right.
and here's the thing, and here's something that, I hope the whole world can listen to. Not not being right not being right doesn't mean that you're wrong.
Yeah,
I know that, like, that's kinda deep. Not being right doesn't mean that you're wrong, and you don't have to there's not always a winner, and when someone is right about something, doesn't mean they win if they're right about the wrong thing.
yeah, a lot of times there's two losers in a situation. Both of you come out losing,
Yeah.
you know, when you both could have come out winning.
James, you are one of the deepest thinkers that I've talked to in the past 2 weeks. It's only 2 weeks now. So don't get a big head. But but I would love to have you on. By the way, did you see I wore the super
Yeah, nice.
super
I like
Timberland shirt?
that.
This is the first time I wore a super Timberland shirt ever. Yeah, yeah. But and I will show this in case if you wanna get one. No, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. But if you wanna get one of these, you can go to supertommylandmerch.com, supertommylandmerch.com. You can get a shirt. You
All
can do
right.
it. So maybe you should. I feel like you've got a lot of great positions. You and I grew up in a lot of similar situations. Um, we have a lot of things in common, my friend. We do, and I'm just very happy that that initial conversation where you were hating and tossing that hate, tossing that vitriol, as we say, right?
Yeah.
Um, I took that moment to stop and think and say, why? Why is he doing that? And I appreciate you stepping in and saying, I don't know why. You stepped up as a man and you dude, I look at you right now. I look at you right now and I see like the smile when you first came on. Um, you're a different man than you were last week. You are. I don't
Yeah.
I, I don't I don't know how to explain that, but you're a different person. And I appreciate you. I want you to be around for a long time. I want you to come back on Super Tommy Land. And the more that I talk, the more echo we get. But okay. I want you to get some headphones so that we don't get this weird echo. First of
Okay.
all, can you go out today and get some headphones, please?
Oh yeah. Okay. I'll get
All
some
right, James.
headphones.
James, get some headphones because I want you, James, to be a recurring character on this podcast. You have a point of view that a lot of people don't have. And
Thank you.
you came from a place of hatred into a place of love. Look at you. You're a
Yep.
beautiful man. You're a
And
beautiful
I'm
guy, man.
happier. It makes you happy, dude, when you can do that. Being hateful is just misery. It
It
is
is.
just
It's
a tr-
terrible.
misery, dude. But being love makes you happy. It
Are
just
you
does.
are you feeling good these days? Right now, are
Yeah,
you feeling good?
I'm
Are
feeling
you
really
feel
good.
are you feeling loved? Are you feeling excited about today?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. Go out today, get some headphones, and you know what? Let's do a Super Tommy Land later on today. We'll do one this evening. You and I will do an update with your headphones. How does that sound?
That sounds good.
And we'll talk about, well, you and I will talk beforehand, but we'll talk about some issues. We'll look at some of the protests going on, formulate some talking points, figure out where to go from there. We're all about love here. We got to figure out what's going on in the world and who should be supported and who should be looked at like y'all doing too much. I mean, is what it is. Is what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
So, James, go get yourself some sleep. Get yourself some headphones tonight. Tonight, officially tonight. You and I will talk. We'll get back on here. Did you enjoy this?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, we'll do this again. I promise you. We'll do it again. Let's get on tonight. We'll make it happen. Um, I'm I'm speechless because I do I do like 6 podcasts a week. Usually they're very simple like entertainment news, entertainment trivia, very easy stuff. On Super Tommy Land, I get to actually speak my mind. Super Tommy Land, I get to speak my mind. I get to talk to people like you. And you know what? In fact, tomorrow, let me get my boy Eddie on with you. Me, you, and do you remember Eddie Lloyd? Eddie Lloyd?
yeah.
Yeah. Let's get Eddie on. By the way, it's funny the way that you look right now. You kind of look like Brock Pierce, who is running for president right now. Another friend of mine. Do you know Brock Pierce? Do you know who he is?
No, I don't. No.
Look up Google Brock Pierce. You look a
Okay.
lot like him. You look a lot like him.
Fine. I always got to look alike wherever I go.
You look a lot like him. Google Brock Pierce. I'm just saying. Also, I think your shirt is in my closet as well. I think I have that shirt. My man. You know
All
what?
right.
We've been on for far too long. Never far too long. You're a good dude.
Yes.
I appreciate you. I appreciate everything that happened between you and I in the past week. I just hope that people in the world can maybe look at what we've done, take a little hint, and it's like, hey, listen to this person for a minute. Give yourself up for a second. Don't be so hateful. Don't be so almighty. Just have some fun. It's life. We only have one. Let's do
Yep.
it. Appreciate you, brother.
You too, boss.
I'll see you soon.
All right, brother.
Later.
Take it easy.
You too, buddy.